They can come in. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Okay. So this is I'm calling it scrapers, but you could also call it like browser automation, etc. You can easily turn this into like a proper web scraper where you would actually go in and like grab all the links that are on a page, and then create a spider that goes in all the different links and stuff like that. But the type of thing that I'm interested in it for the time being is basically browser automation. So I want it to go out and do tasks for me and pull data back from websites that don't have a conventional API. So either because I don't want to pay for it, if like I don't want to pay for an API, or just because there is no API, there's only some sort of a browser thing, which you go hit the browser. So basically, using this technique, you could turn anything that would show up in a browser kind of into an API. That being said, it's very flimsy. Okay, so prior art in Elixir, there's Hound and Wallaby. So I don't know, has anybody, I'm going to break Casper's rules and just like, you guys can shout back because this is kind of interactive, not super polished. If people have heard of this sort of stuff, let me know. Hound, Wallaby, they both were able to like harness various browsers. Hound, I think, was earlier, and Hound was also more directed towards web scrapers, whereas Wallaby is more directed towards testing. And Wallaby is, useful, but it's a little bit old hat. You can do various browsers, and you can use Selenium. So Selenium is kind of like a master runner of various browsers, so you can run various browsers under Selenium. So Selenium is a Java thing, but basically Playwright is kind of like replacing Selenium, but now you can access Playwright directly using Playwright EX through this library that I'm using. So if it's not at all clear, basically when Chrome came out, they realized that they needed to like automate the thing to be able to do their testing properly. And so once that happened, you're able to like actually command the browser to be able to do stuff. And they realized it was useful for testing front end stuff. So you can also run it headless. You can run it headed or headless. For debugging, you mostly want to run it headed. In other words, that the GUI is going to pop up and show you what's happening. It makes debugging a lot easier, but you can't always run like that if you're running in like Docker or whatever. Okay, so web scraping is a pain in the ass. It's annoying to maintain. It's annoying to build. Breaks all the time. Lots of random failures. So just be prepared. Like, this is table stakes for web scraping. It's like equal parts fun and infuriating, where you'll get some minor result and you just be like, triumph. I got it to recognize the button. I'm now clicking a button. So that you have to take your triumphs when you can. And then it's very much like, running your test suite or whatever. It's like, it's going to break, stuff is going to break, but it's going to break for all kinds of reasons, like timing issues, stuff that's outside of your control, flaky browser activity, your internet could be slow that day. It could be the other server is slow that day. All kinds of different reasons for why stuff can break. There are a whole bunch of ways that you can kind of try to build robustness into the system, but no matter what, you're never going to get it flawless, and so there has to be some sort of like retry option ultimately if you wanted to turn this into like an automated thing. Okay, so Playwright is very useful. I don't know, has anybody done scraping before with any other thing? Like, yes? Okay, has anybody used like, what is it, like Puppeteer, Selenium, etc.? What's that? Python. Okay, so, but anyway, I would say Playwright is probably the best one that is out right now. It's a Microsoft thing. Yeah, it's like good. The other ones are all like even more of a pain in the ass. Like with Playwright, it tends to do what you expect it to do, kind of by default, without too much additional ceremony. So if you had used the other ones like Selenium or something like that, Selenium would be like more direct. Like the thing actually, the thing that you said you were asking for, it didn't happen. Whereas like with Playwright, there's some degree of like auto retry and stuff like that. So it has some robustness that's already built into it within Playwright. So it's kind of like starting web scraping on easy mode. And you can actually be productive with it. Whereas I find that with the other ones, it's too direct, and so you're having to like do all those retries and stuff like that yourself. So with Playwright, you can control whatever browser that comes with it. I can't remember all the different ones, but running headed, I think you can run Firefox, Chrome, Chromium, and WebKit, and then headless. I don't really know what the whole list is, but there's lots of them. Probably also depends on platform. Like if you're on Microsoft, you can run Edge and stuff like that. So Playwright is written in JavaScript, which is very handy if you know JavaScript. And if you know JavaScript, like also, no shade, that you could just go use Playwright right now in JavaScript, and that would be totally fine. But we're writing Elixir, so I'm using the Elixir for it. Playwright, arguably, in JavaScript is more featureful because it's sort of natively written in JavaScript. And I wouldn't recommend it in probably other languages. Well, it needs to have like sort of a strong async game. So JS is pretty suitable for this type of thing. I mean, Elixir is even more so, but JS is fine. I wouldn't recommend using Python. I'm not sure exactly how well it would work in Java or something like that. You would need some sort of an async thing happening in order to be able to use it very well, because you need to have like an event-driven thing. So Playwright also has this auto-generate feature, which is super handy, where you can basically just go generate your tests by starting this auto-generate command, and then you just go click around the browser to do the steps that you want to do. So that was kind of how I started my task, is like, this is the series of steps that I want to do. Click around, you record all the events in a window, and then you copy the events out, and then you can modify them for the Elixir case. So the thing that it's most useful for is it gives you all the CSS selectors. So this is the auto-generated code, what it looks like, which probably doesn't really look that pretty. It's JavaScript code, obviously, but it's this sort of stuff. This is like what it does, which is like you have a page which you're working on, you have a locator, and then the locator is a CSS selector, and then within this one it's getting a content frame, so this is happening within an iframe called this thing, and then within that you're trying to grab a locator with an ID of fines, whatever that is, lat long, etc., and then you want to click it. So yeah, it's self-descriptive, and if you understand what JavaScript does, you can probably understand what that's doing. Elixir has a slightly different style because, Elixir is a different language and different, ideas about what makes a good language. Any questions, just, jump in. Okay, so you're always using these CSS selectors. So it's very common to have something like page.locator with this CSS selector. And then once you have the element selected, then you do something with it like click or fill in or whatever. So if you're familiar with CSS, this is like, there's an input element, and then you have an ID of this. This is just looking for that ID. This is looking for that as a class. This is looking for it as like an attribute. So ID equals whatever this is. Then this can be like anything that would normally be in HTML. So this could be like name. This could be like a custom thing or whatever. This could be looking for anything within HTML. So you have element name and element value. So it can look for anything that you would have within your HTML. So let's take a look at why we want web scraping in our lives. Okay, so here's a typical day in my life, is that my wife sends me a realtor.ca listing, right? And she's like, oh, go look at the price for this thing, that what it's sold for in the past, and what the assessed value is and stuff like that. And none of this stuff is like really accessible material. There are sites that you can find it for free if you know what you're doing, but it's not really like accessible, right? So what I was doing before I, came up with the web scraping thing, okay, go to directions, and that takes me there. Okay, it's driving me to this place. Okay, now I have to find it. For some reason it thinks that I'm in Edmonton. I have to find it, and then I have to find like the GPS coordinates. But fortunately, it's got the GPS coordinates up here. So then I have to go to this other website. Okay, yes. And if you notice like the design of like 2000s era, whatever, okay. Okay, now I have to remember, it's like, what was I supposed to do here? Yes, I have to go to search, and now I have to go to search by street address, but I can also go over to the map search. And then once I get into the map search, let's wait. Let's wait. Oh, it's there. Okay. And now I can go into the map. Okay, this looks like success here. So now I just have to zoom into the map. But then the map resets itself. Like nothing is working with this stupid site. Okay. Okay, but maybe there's some hope over here. Maybe there's some hope over here. Okay, I can go to the place if I had the link number. If I had the settlement lot, I don't know any of this sort of stuff. Coordinate lat long, that looks promising. Oh, why do we have 3 values here? Because it's the old version of lat long that's degrees, minutes, and seconds. So I've got this lat long that's the conventional thing of like decimal, right? And so now I have to take these decimals and I take them to another site that I convert them into degrees, minutes, and seconds. Yes, I know. And you're already saying, stab me. Just end the pain. So, yes, after all this, I'm like, I need to just write something that scripts this whole thing and I don't have to deal with this painful thing anymore. And this isn't the only site, okay? There's another site where, okay, this one will eventually give you the tax assessment, okay? So that you can see how much the property is that the town or the municipality thinks it's worth. And then the other one that you want to look at is the registry. Oh, sorry, this one is the registry, the other one is the town site. So with the registry, it shows you what it's sold for previously. So if it was last sold in like 2007 or something like that. So you understand this pain. Okay, so while we're here, we'll show you how the whole scripting thing works. Or the auto-generate. So you just go into here, and you don't even have to really be in a project. I mean, it needs to be someplace where it's going to recognize what NPX is, but you don't really need to be in a project because it's not actually like generating code for you. It's just generating it in a window, okay? So and I think, let's just see what I did before. Yeah, okay, so if I generate it based off of this site, this is the starting page of one of my my scripting things. So if I do that, then it should start this up. Okay, and then what I want to do from here is I want to go here, and then we wait. Another fun thing is that I think it's the other site, the registry site. It shuts down at 9 o'clock at night, 9 p.m. So you have to strictly observe the times, and it's also it doesn't start again like it doesn't start until 12 p.m. on Sundays because like I guess the maintainer has to go to church or something, and then afterwards they can like get back to the house and push go on the server. I don't know exactly. Yeah. Okay, so this is doing its thing, and I want to go to here, and then I want to go to lat long, and then I want to fill in my values here. Which one of them is like 51? The other one is minus 113 something. Okay, so this isn't going to work because it's not the exact values, but what it's given us is all these things. So then you would grab all these values and then bring them into your program and then grab your CSS selectors. So this is doing a ton of work for you because it's basically going and finding your CSS selectors for you, and then you can kind of work from there. Otherwise, you have to basically do like right-click, inspect, and then look at your HTML and stuff like that. So that the code generator is super useful for you. And if you wanted to do this in JavaScript, you'd be doing this and then just pull this code into JavaScript and then modify it to make it more robust. So it's doing some things that are slightly stupid, which, you know, it's doing it in like an automated fashion. So um, don't judge too harshly. So that's how the code generator thing works, which is, it's very useful. No real complaints about that. Okay, so when I actually run the code now, I don't know. Do you guys want to see what the code looks like? So this is what it looks like when you're writing. Okay, so this is don't judge my style. Okay, this is just like scrambly scripted code. Okay, but the first thing you got to do is you got to open the browser. So we launch with Firefox, and if you don't put any value in there, I think it chooses Chromium by default. And that'll give you a browser, and then from the browser you can derive a page. And then the page, I want to set the viewport because I want it to have the same size so I can place the cursor. But if you don't set that, it'll open it up as whatever default size. I can't remember what the default size is. And then I want to go to this site. So I'm going to the real estate site. The eventual plan is to like turn this into like more of a website where you put this into a text field or whatever, and then it does it all, you know, behind the scenes, does it all properly. So it goes in, grabs the link. So it took me a while to figure it out. I was like, I couldn't figure out how Realtor was always getting the directions right, because I was thinking that it was giving this value to Google Maps, and that Google Maps for some reason was figuring it out properly. But then you look at the link and it's got the coordinates in the link. So then it's like, aha! I don't actually have to I don't have to mess around with the Google API at all. I thought I was going to have to, you know, submit the address to Google API and get the proper thing back. But it's already in the link. So this is another thing. You just have to be observant with some of this stuff and like look for these sort of things. So seeing it's in the link, I can just grab the link. So that's what I'm doing here. So looking for that, grabbing the link, pulling it back to here, and then I pull the query arg out of it, split it off, and I get the coordinates, send it to this thing that I got ChatGPT to make for me, which splits out the latitude and longitude into degrees, minutes, and seconds. And then I can place it into the field of that thing that I was on before. So this thing, place it into these values, and then just goes through, you know, all the different steps that you need to do. Puts it into the right fields, and sleeps are magic. Okay, so it's like, if in doubt, chuck in a sleep and see if that helps. It's hacky, definitely, and there are probably better ways, but to be honest, there's only so much that I want to deal with this page and like monitor for a spinner disappearing from this page or whatever sort of thing. So until I actually have to make the code robust, it's like, put in more sleep. If in doubt, you can put in a bit more sleep, and you know. Well, this thing, in theory, okay, that spinner that showed up, right? Did you see it up here, the spinner? So you could monitor for that spinner, right? And then be like, oh, the spinner's gone away or whatever. There's lots of different things you could do, but like you can basically look on the page and be like, what would I, as a as a 2000s ASP developer, how would I think about this? And then you could try to like psychoanalyze, you know, a developer from 25 years ago, and that's also fun. Or you could just put in sleep, and just if in doubt, put in more sleep. So the sleeping is just waiting, obviously, which that's also incredibly variable, because that could be like your network is taking longer or whatever, you're logged into a VPN or something or whatever. Lots of different reasons why that could be doing weird things. So yeah, after this is inputted, then it's going to find the right location, and then I want to click in the middle of the screen. So find this thing and click in the middle of the screen, and that's going to pop up the thing that I want, which is another window, because ASP 2000 era was like, we like to pop up new windows all the time. It's not even like a new tab, because a tab was a new concept. It was like a whole new browser window. So this thing just spawns browser windows all over the place, and you have to keep. That's another thing that sort of surprised me, is like, actually it's not too difficult with this library to be able to track like different browser windows and different tabs and stuff like that. It's like, it's all entirely possible. So, you know, fret not, somebody has figured it out. Yeah, so after we click in the middle of the map to get the thing that we want, it's going to pop up another browser window.